Hi, I'm Crystal, and today we're going to be making this cantilevered storage box. And if this looks vaguely familiar, it's because it's modeled on a thread chest. So I'm sure you've seen these. And I've got all the measurements and instructions in the description box below or at my blog, which is at papercraftcrystal.com. So you'll need 6 identical small boxes. I made mine using the Sizzix Curio box die because I happen to have that one. But of course you can easily make a box with any piece of lightweight cardboard or heavy cardstock by simply making a rectangle with the edges marked off at a uniform distance on all 4 sides, then making 4 cuts. That can be on either the long side or the short side. You just have to pick one and commit. And then to score, I just use the edge of the table. If you line up your desired depth against the edge of the table, you can just fold down against the edge, and that's going to give you a nice tight score. You can, of course, use a scoreboard for this if you prefer, but the edge of the table is always there. I don't have to find it. I don't have to find the stylus, so there you go. So once you've got the scoring, all you have to do, of course, is fold up the ends, and you've got those flaps, and then just attach them, and you've got your small box. So whether you use a die or whether you use a rectangle that you've marked and cut out, get your 6 boxes, or of course you could use packaging of some type. Maybe you have jewelry boxes or candy boxes from the holidays, as long as you've got 6 of the same size. Once you have your 6 boxes, you'll want to decorate them in advance, and then you're going to punch 3 evenly spaced holes on the long sides. So I think the best way to do this is to build a jig. So I've got this piece of scrap cardboard where I've got my holes marked out, carefully measured, and then I punched the holes in my 6 boxes. So once I've got those holes punched on both sides, both long sides of the boxes, using my jig, I'm going to get out my tiny craft brads. So these are not office size, these are the tiny craft brads. And my brads happen to come with washers. I don't really know that the washers are necessary, but I had them, so I'm going to go ahead and use them. And you will need an awful lot of these brads. I think it was 34. Then you're going to measure from your upper left to your lower right on one stack of boxes, the 2 furthest away holes, and then 2 of the closer holes. So you're going to need 8 of the short legs and 4 of the long legs. Once you've got those measured and cut, the holes punched, then you can build the mechanism for this storage box. I put those legs down at the wrong angle over and over and over again in this project. But of course, they have to be angled so that the legs point towards the center for the mechanism to work. Now, before I start attaching the mechanism, I felt like my boxes needed a little bit of stability before I started putting all my brads in. And so I'm actually going to start by making a little base for my boxes to sit on. I do think it's necessary for the 2 bottom boxes to be attached to one another at the short edge. I don't know that the base itself is necessary, but I thought it would add some stability to the project. So I measured the boxes from end to end and the depth and made a little base to go on the bottom. And I decorated that to match. Now the decoration was really unnecessary because you won't be able to see any of that base when we get through. But I'm going to attach the 2 boxes there on the bottom to one another and then to the base, and then start attaching the mechanism. I thought the base would be handy for attaching the feet, and I thought the feet really completed the look. But to make the feet, I just took some cardboard marked in 1-inch squares, and then I marked off at a 1/2 inch. I cut a slit, and to score, I didn't even need the edge of the table. This piece of cardboard is so small. I just folded it in, so I folded it every 1/2 inch mark with that one slit, and then fold the leg in together, and you've got tabs to glue to make the little foot. So I made 4 little feet, painted them brown to match my mechanism arms, and then I'll have something for the boxes to sit on. You could use a large bead or a decorative button or something like that. I didn't have anything suitable, so I went with the little cardboard legs. So for stability, I'm going to go ahead and attach those two drawers to one another and to the base. I'm going to do that with some double-sided tape and then go on to the mechanism. So I do think that the little craft brads were the suitable size for my boxes. If you used a little bit bigger box, I think you could use bigger brads. But these little craft brads do take a 1/8 inch hole punch to make the suitable size hole, and you do need a punched hole, I think, for the mechanism to work well. You need some space for those brads to turn in order for the legs to work. Once I've got all that stacked up, you see, I get that angle wrong every time I lay those legs down. That's when you start putting in all the brads. Now, I think that you probably want to do this from the bottom and go up, just because you don't have a lot of room to work. But once you put those legs on, that project is basically finished. I painted the boxes in an ombre, just because it was reminiscent to me of the thread chest that my mother and grandmother used. And once I get the legs on and fill in those couple of empty holes with brads just for completeness, then the project is going to be complete. So overall, this was really a pretty easy project. Really, the most time-consuming part was decorating the boxes. Everything had some dry time to it, but it enabled me to use up some of my vast stash of brads, and I think this is a fun little storage box. I'm not going to want to put anything too heavy in here, but I think it would be fine for some lightweight embroidery floss or something else that was not too terribly heavy. And I do just love that ombre look for the inside of the boxes. So I hope that you'll give this project a try if it appeals to you, and I thank you for joining me today.